Hi, welcome to everyone who feels drawn to this space. If you click on this video for no clear reason, or if something in you just said, stay here for a second, then maybe this message is meant for you. For this week, the theme I chose is, you can finally relax. I picked this topic because at the end of the month, on the 31st, Venus moves into Taurus. And when I think about Venus in Taurus, the energy feels very soft, very earthy, very simple. It's about enjoying life, letting yourself feel good, slowing down, being present, and coming back to your body. It's not the kind of energy that says, push harder, do more, keep going. It feels more like, take a deep breath. Let yourself soften. Notice what is already here. Let life hold you for a moment. That's why I wanted to do this reading around this theme. Because when I tune into the energy of this week, I really felt like there are people who have been carrying a lot. Some of you have been mentally tense for a long time. Some of you have been emotionally holding on. Some of you may have been trying to stay strong, stay productive, stay in control, or keep everything together, even when your body and heart are already asking for rest. And it felt like the universe was not judging that at all. It felt more like a gentle reminder, like, maybe you've already done enough. Maybe you don't need to force this next part. Maybe the lesson right now is not how to try harder, but how to receive more. Maybe this is the kind of moment where you can stop bracing yourself and start letting life feel a little softer. So with that in mind, I pulled tarot first, and while I was shuffling, I asked 3 questions. The first question I asked the tarot was, where have viewers been feeling tense lately? Or where have they been trying too hard? I wanted to look at the place where people might feel seen, like, yes, that's exactly where I've been overdoing it. The second question I asked was, what can they finally let go of now? Or what do they not need to cling to so tightly anymore? Because Taurus energy, especially with Venus there, really reminds us that peace is also allowed, rest is allowed. You do not always have to earn your softness. And the third question I asked was, what can they do right now to return to a more stable, grounded, and comfortable state? How can they come back to themselves, back to their body, back to simple life, back to a pace that actually feels supportive instead of draining? Then I also pulled an oracle card because I wanted a softer, more intuitive layer to come through. For the oracle, I asked, what does the universe want to remind my viewers about slowing down and allowing themselves to enjoy the beauty of the present moment? So that was the intention behind this reading. If you've been feeling tired, stretched too thin, emotionally tight, mentally noisy, or like you want to relax but don't quite know how, then this message may really have something for you. So now, let's get into the cards and see what came through for you this week. Alright, let's get into the cards. For the tarot, the card that came out was the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, and for the oracle, the card was Cactus. And I want to start by saying, before I even fully turned over the Wheel of Fortune, I hesitated. I didn't flip it open as naturally as I usually do. There was a pause, a little moment of resistance, or maybe not resistance exactly, but a feeling that the card wanted me to notice something before revealing itself. So right away, I felt like this card was carrying both upright and reversed energy. But of course, the reversed meaning feels stronger and more central here. What was really interesting is that the image did not feel heavy to me in a bad way. It actually felt magical. It reminded me of some kind of enchanted machine from a fairy tale, like a magical spinning or weaving device quietly doing its work. There were all these tools, shapes, lines, and moving parts, and everything looked like it was floating in the air. It felt dreamlike, a little surreal, but still very ordered. That's what stood out to me the most. It felt magical, but not chaotic, mysterious, but still precise. Like something invisible is working behind the scenes all the time. And what I kept getting was this feeling. If you don't stare at it too hard, it keeps working. But the moment you focus on it too much, the moment you start asking, is it moving? Is it happening? Why isn't it here yet? Suddenly, it feels stuck. So for the first question, where have people been too tense or trying too hard lately? This card feels very clear. A lot of people here may be over-focusing on timing, trying to make something happen faster, trying to understand why something hasn't changed. Yet, trying to control the process because the in-between stage feels uncomfortable. This could be about love, work, money, healing, identity, or simply a life chapter that you want to move through already. But the deeper energy here feels like this. People have been gripping the wheel too tightly. You may have been watching every little sign, every little shift, every little delay, and asking yourself, what do I need to do now? Or why is this still not moving? And the card is saying, very gently, life is still moving. The wheel is still turning. The process has not stopped. You're just being shown how exhausting it is when you feel like you need to manage every turn of it. That's why this card feels so connected to the theme. You can finally relax. Because what you can let go of now is not just one outcome. It's also the need to control how and when life unfolds. The reverse wheel of fortune can feel like delays, resistance, bad timing, or a sense that things are not lining up. But in this reading, it feels more like a pause in your perspective than a stop in the actual movement. Things may look quiet on the outside, but that does not mean nothing is happening. It feels like a recalibration, like gears adjusting, like threads being rewoven, like divine timing is doing quiet work that the mind cannot fully measure yet. And I really want to bring in the colors here, because the colors felt important too. The card gives off mostly blue and purple tones. Blue feels clear, cool, thoughtful, calm. Purple feels mystical, intuitive, dreamy, and a little bit hidden. So together, these colors feel like a meeting point between the mind and the unseen, between what you can understand and what you simply have to trust. That's why this card does not feel like do more. It feels like notice more, not force the wheel, but step back enough to remember that the wheel can move without your constant effort. And then there are the numbers I picked up, 10 and 18. The 10 from the Wheel of Fortune feels important because 10 is the number of a cycle reaching completion. It carries the feeling of coming to the end of something, a full turn, a closing of one chapter before another begins. But 10 also has this strange threshold energy. You're not exactly where you started, but you're not fully in the new place yet either. So for a lot of viewers, I feel like this is the edge of a cycle. Something is wrapping up, even if it doesn't look dramatic yet. Then 18 adds another layer. To me, 18 feels lunar, emotional, deep. Unclear in the mind, but very alive in the subconscious. It has that moon card kind of feeling, where not everything is visible, but something is definitely happening underneath. So when I put 10 and 18 together, it feels like this message. A cycle is ending, but the ending may be happening through an inner shift first, through intuition, through surrender, through not knowing every step ahead of time. So if someone has been feeling foggy, uncertain, emotional, or like they cannot quite read what life is doing right now, this makes a lot of sense. The message is not that you are lost. The message is that you are between chapters, and not all transitions are meant to be controlled with the mind. Now let's move to the oracle card, Cactus. This card feels so strong, but in a quiet way, not loud strength, not dramatic strength, more like survival strength, the kind that becomes part of who you are. In the image, there's this young cactus growing out of a pile of dark stones. The environment does not look soft or easy. It feels rough, dry, windy, and exposed. And yet the cactus is alive. Not only alive, but upright, receptive, growing. That's why I feel like this card is describing a lot of the people listening. Some of you have already learned how to survive hard seasons. You've learned how to protect your energy, how to keep going when things were not ideal, how to stand in difficult conditions without collapsing. And that is beautiful. But this card also asks a deeper question. Do you still need to live like you are in survival mode? Because sometimes strength becomes such a habit that we forget how to soften. The keywords that come through with cactus are endurance, resilience, and self-sufficiency. And that fits so well here. But emotionally, what I hear is you already know how to hold yourself together. You don't need to prove that anymore. And the numbers I felt here, 17, 21, and 48, add even more. 17 feels like hope after difficulty. It reminds me of the kind of energy that comes after a hard stretch, where there is still sensitivity, but also light returning. It's a number that says healing is already happening, even if you are still recovering. 21 feels like arrival, completion, and wholeness. It feels wider than 10. 10 is the end of a cycle, but 21 feels like integration. Like you are not just ending something, you are becoming more complete through it. It gives me the sense that this season is teaching people how to come back to themselves in a fuller way. And 48 feels earthy and practical. It feels like building stability slowly, piece by piece, not through force, but through consistency, care, and small grounded choices. It feels like the body, the home, routines, nourishment, pacing, boundaries, and the kind of life that supports your nervous system instead of overwhelming it. So when I put all of this together, the message becomes very clear. You have been strong for a long time. You have been holding a lot. You may have been trying to push the wheel forward while also surviving in a hard emotional climate. But this week, the energy says something different. You can soften. You can unclench. You can stop asking yourself to prove your strength every single day. You do not need to rush the wheel. And you do not need to bloom on command. The way back to stability right now is simple. Come back to the body. Come back to the senses. Come back to slower rhythms. Eat more slowly. Rest without guilt. Sit in silence. Go outside. Touch something real. Let beauty matter. Let pressure count. Let enough be enough for a moment. So the meditation line for this week would be, I allow life to move even when I am not forcing it. I do not need to stay in survival mode to be safe. I can soften and still be supported. And the reminder for this week is this. When you stop gripping the wheel, you may finally feel that life has been carrying you too. When you stop bracing for the next hard thing, you make room to notice what is already gentle, already beautiful, already here. So thank you to everyone who stayed with me all the way to the end. Thank you to the souls who were meant to hear this. Until the universe brings us together again next time. Bye.